Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you may be. All right, Star Citizen live tech talk with Benoit, and he said his name at the beginning. I forgot it. Beausejour, part three.
The whole hotfix incompatible and we can't launch it. So we have to backtrack, change our approach, whatever. And so that's the kind of thing we're dealing with. This will also solve that if we can make it.
And before somebody says you should have just made a simpler game, Benoit. Have you considered just making a simpler game?
Yeah. Cool.
All right, I want to move into our quality of life section here.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit before because we just talked a whole lot about not losing things and all the efforts being made of not losing things. But there are other major quality of life things. For me, personally,
Yeah.
after the not losing the things, it's social.
Yeah.
It's social.
Okay.
The ability to group with people, the ability to communicate with people, the ability not to communicate with people, the ability to just be like, oh, hey, that's a bad person. That's a bad person with bad thoughts and bad intentions, and boop, boop, and kick them into the pit from 300.
Sure.
And whatnot. Never to see or hear from that person again.
Right.
The all the tools for joining up. Finally, people have been creating and managing orgs on our website since 2013.
Yeah. 13.
And this is 2026, and those orgs still not in game.
Correct. What are we doing?
It's we're reenacting a little play because Benoit and I have had this conversation almost verbatim for a little time. I'm just doing the conversation we had in private for you guys right now. So my question, Benoit,
Yeah.
friend, person whom chat has dubbed brother, my brother,
From another mother.
when, Benoit, when, please, dear
Comes.
God in heaven above or down below, who do I have to talk to?
Sure.
Give me something.
Good.
Social.
Yeah. Well, so what is it now? It's all a blur. A social universe, right? The last panel that we did at CitizenCon. That outlines the vision of what we want to do with social. Now, with the year that we just had, we had to take a little bit of a detour on that initial plan. But right now, we have completely formed the social strike team. And so a bit like the heroes team, right? The social strike team, its only mission is to execute this plan, right? And so
So don't bury the lead. There is now an official dedicated team on this.
social strike team, yes.
Okay.
Exactly. And so this group is currently looking at all of the components that make up the social systems now, right? Fortunately for us, the work didn't stop on this side, even though we couldn't enact the changes in the game. On the back end side of things, there's been a lot of progress on social. And so even though the systems look primitive in game, their capabilities have grown quite a bit, even in 25. We
Just
do
not using them yet.
So we do have a block list that we leverage now. It's simplistic, but because we didn't have the UI resources to do it completely. But moving into this strike team, right, covers all areas of social. So the plan is to go into 4 different pillars for it. So the first order of business is the Comlink app. So the Comlink app is like one of the oldest mobi-glass application we still have. It's kind of an eyesore because it's like from a dark, ghost of futures past. It's like from 2000, I want to say 1918 at this point, style-wise. Very old technology, still use the legacy even UI framework that we had in the game. So we're completely eliminating that tab. We're bringing in forward the social application that we've shown at CitizenCon, so that design is moving forward. So replacing that, chat widget, right? So the entire chat experience in the game, we're completely overhauling this from the top at the moment. So we're right in the process of changing that and hooking it up to the new systems. revamping things like social notifications. Currently in our mobiles, we only have one kind of level of notification, which is like ultra important. So to have a proper social experience, you need to have these like system updates, system notifications, like someone joins, someone leaves, whatever. Looking at things like combat log and all this stuff that we've looked at in the social universe panel. So we're actively building this now, and that's going to be the first. We don't know. I'm not going to say which patch is going to land in. So our schedule is twofold. There's a content patch schedule and there's a feature schedule. The features need to have leeway because it depends on where they're going to land. But that's going to be the first update to social. Will be Comlink app, right? So
Okay.
rich party information, friend phone tracking, chat app. So we're working on this right now,
Okay.
actively.
For a 2026 release.
Yes. Yes. I mean, it's like you mentioned, it's kind of urgent at this point that we do something there. This will automatically roll into the next. No, keep your dad here. Come on. On the next milestone for the social strike team is going to be looking at the party finder mechanic, right?
Okay.
Which basically allows you to advertise your party,
That'll be good.
and then get people to join in. Like, let's say you're looking for a gunner and some FPS guys for your mission, then you can advertise that. If you're looking for friends to go do a specific event, you can do that as well. And so Party Finder, we're hoping, is going to be a way for you to find friends on a given shard really rapidly. Also tie that in with your friendship and your contacts. So that will be kind of, we're building on the first release, which will have now friend and foe tracking into that. And so that's going to be super interesting. That's the second system we want to bring in. And then obviously number 3 of 4, right, is the org system. And so in that space, we're taking the orgs on the website from 2013 and we're moving them completely. Obviously, the technology we used to build that in 2013 are obsolete. It's a really old system. So we're bringing all of this data back into a game service to manage orgs.
Okay. Good.
To surface that, obviously, game side. So now have org management screens, have your organization chat in the game, and then actually be able to create your organization from the game as well as surface it outside. So that's like, okay, now orgs are in the game. That's the first.
That's the whole name, and then the org.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and this will probably. I mean, we're still having internal discussions about how that surfaces. In our game, nothing is always set in stones, but probably going to tie into FPS, scanning radar, additions to when you fly your ship to identify others with scanning, and so the orgs will be part of that. That's it. Visibility in game, chat in game for your orgs, actually having your organization communications.
Yeah, that's a whole nother series of conversations. Weighing immersion versus running around and seeing it burns when I PvP.
Yeah.
Above people's heads. It's like,
sure.
So
let me solo her.
Just
Wow.
Fun fact: I got to write the original guidance at Blizzard for that. We're back in 2004 for World of Warcraft. Yeah, I got to make the original list of. These are examples of really bad guild names.
Nice.
To train game masters way back when.
Cool.
Chat, you've been saying it. It's next on the list.
Yep.
VoIP.
Yeah.
VoIP. If you're doing all this stuff, VoIP.
Looking at VoIP.
Such an important element.
Sure. It's all part of
it. Graham tells me it's entirely your fault.
Graham is. I don't want to say it.
Graham did not say that. He heavily implied it, though.
No.
Graham is more savvy than I am. He knew not to say it outright.
Yeah. That's right. We love him, but he's wrong. No, but okay. So VoIP, we're doing improvements there on the backend side of things. So VoIP is mainly, right now heavily affected by the shard size. So the original design for this was really made for the 100 servers. And so we haven't had a chance to go back there at all. As part of this work, this team is also going to look at the infrastructure for voice transmission. And we're going to try to, make it scale to the proper thing. So one element that we're talking about on chat and comms is that we're probably going to be moving away from the server chat. So what the original global 600 player chat, and move into regional chats like a true MMO, so that it's tied to the region that you are.
Okay.
Maybe
Good.
multiple channels for that, and so VoIP will also be affected by that because it also powers proximity chat, and so proximity voice. Sorry, so we're looking at voice transmission from the top to bottom. We're changing the whole backend for this to make it scale there.
What do you have against Baron's chat?
Baron's chat was dope.
Baron's chat was. I mean, apparently Baron's chat was so dope we implemented it here and have had it for the last 10 years.
That's right. Correct.
So,
Correct.
sorry.
We're also like out of this. There's also some movement on player reporting for bad behavior. So not just blocking, which is, is something that we have now, but that we want to expand on. But also like player reporting on for other players that are, either bad behavior, profanity in chat, things like that. Obviously, we don't at CIG don't have a large, moderation team in game. So we're going to need some automated help there that will come and clean up some of these elements. So we're trying to really tackle communications from the top there with that strike team.
So social, there's not ever losing an item. Shout out to gameplay engineering director Jens. That was his major
his
one,
coin.
and then
That was his coin.
that was his one. Didn't feel strongly enough to come on the show though.
No.
Jens.
Yeah,
I
next
asked.
time. Next time we do a duo. Let's sign him up right now.
So not losing things.
Yeah.
Social tools. We'll throw VoIP in with social tools. Essentially.
Chat, party finder, orgs
Yeah.
is what we're
Yeah.
going in order.
As far as major quality of life, I want to ask you personally. I'm allowed to say things personally sometimes. I do it often
Yeah.
in my live shows, and then get in trouble for it afterwards. Benoit, I want your personal thing. What is your big bugaboo? What is your big quality of life bugaboo? The thing that
Personal.
yeah.
I've got two. I've added one.
Scope creep.
Yeah. Okay, so I would say for me, in terms of quality of life, I love to play the game in a kind of a larger setup. So I have a kind of a flight seat that I like to operate to play the game, and this thing has roughly 13 devices connected to the game.
Wow.
Managing bindings is literally the worst. And so that's my pet peeve. If there was one thing that I could do for my own game experience, like other than like the in-game elements, it would be completely control bindings. Currently we rely on device order for some things, and so like literally you need to have like a kind of almost a common order for the devices on your machine. Sharing these profiles is very difficult. Being able to bind onto multiple
Saving
devices,
profiles,
to really benefit from that. Being able to bind on multiple, like the same action on multiple devices, for me is super key, right? So that would be my absolute personal thing, quality of life to solve, would be device handling in general.
And you're announcing you've created a hero strike team for this.
I wish I could just do that, but it'd be cool,
So that's not something coming soon.
Well, there is work being done on the control systems, right? But not that I could say it's coming soon to Star Citizen. Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of work there.
And while you're at, it'd be nice if it stored them and saved them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Having a system for actually configuring that made sense and whatever, that's all great and whatnot. But if I got to redo it every patch,
Yeah, I know.
so
Yeah. No.
Saving them, cloud save across machines would be great, right? Yeah, exactly.
talk dirty to me, Benoit.
I mean, it's the kind of thing where like I do maintain a couple of rigs at CIG, and people are always changing bindings. But the problem is, I can't reapply my bindings because it's not the system anyway.
So there are sim pits in the office. There's sim pits in just about every office at this point, aren't there?
Yes.
Yeah. And Benoit is a as if he didn't have enough to do. It's his little pet project. He's intricately involved in them. It's every time I come by and he's at a sim pit, I'm like, you have more important things to do. He's like, and it's always like, somebody change my bindings. Sorry, Pete. I needed the emphasis on it. It's just the number of times I've walked past this man who it's just like, so yes.
I mean, it's because Yogi and I always are fighting against what the best binding is. You know, mine is clearly better, but you know. So we've decided that at some point we'll just fix the binding system so that we don't have to argue. Just load the one you want.
And you had a second one.
So my second one for inside the game is that I've always found in general like, you know, like mission chains is a thing that I feel our gameplay is always one-dimensional, right? Like you do a thing, you finish it. Missions, so I know because I know of things, right? I know we're working on an updated mission system.
You're talking about the limitations of the existing missions. You're not talking about the quality of the work of the people that are working on these things.
Yeah.
You're talking about the tools that they have to work with.
The system around it doesn't allow us to do these massive quest chains, right? And I think that for me would be a huge quality of life because you could go onto a long adventure that takes you across multiple things, and so.
That'd be nice.
Malty was about to be on the corner of the building.
I know,
with a high-powered
calling
rifle.
me right now.
You know, you're talking about the tools that our mission
to enable these
available.
guys. Exactly. So I know we are working on an updated way to make missions that is a lot more scalable for that, right? And for me, that's like a big quality of life because I feel you can go on a longer adventure, and I think that's a big quality of life overall.
Okay. I think that's. I know that's one that a lot of people would comment on. I mean, what they're doing within the tool set that they've had for so long.
Yeah.
I think we should talk about a little bit of why that. Well, maybe not why, but we can acknowledge. We can acknowledge that the tool set that was originally developed was not robust enough. It was not in line with the directions of a proper MMO.
Right.
It's no. I'm trying to decide how candid I want to be here and whatnot.
Just let it out, Jared.
It's a mission system. It's a mission system that can't give you a reward for doing something. Like we built the first version of the mission system where you do a thing, you achieve a goal, and we can't hand you a thing.
Right.
And that it's. I'll just use that simple example as a coloring of the limitations of the existing mission system. For however that was built and why that was built and who that was built and everything, we've made changes internally to fix it. We've made changes internally to adjust it, to replace it. It's currently underway. What they've managed to do with the limitations has been stellar. I was just seeing stats about the event that's on right now. The event that's on right now, built with the existing system, built with the limitations, has our highest concurrency in the last 2 years outside of an Invictus or an IAE. So it's like they're doing tremendous work. Yes. They're doing tremendous work with the tools that they have.
Yes.
We've got to unlock those tools.
That's exactly right.
We've got to unlock those tools for them.
That's for me. That's the quality of life update.
Because if they can do this with that.
Yeah.
Imagine what they could do if they could actually chain these things together and segment them off and have one continue after another and stuff like this. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And tie into reputation, economy, so that it actually is one big loop. Right?
All right.
Cool.
Now that I've saved your life from LA Maltby killing you. Let's talk about some features currently in development.
Sure.
All right. Let's see.
Yeah.
Tech preview just happened recently. How's that going?
Good, actually. I mean, I don't want to say surprisingly good.
I want to know about my crafting. Come on.
Amazing work on it, but it's been going super well. I mean, there's a lot of work left, right? But I think that we got what we needed from the tech preview, and it wasn't a complete meltdown, which is always a good thing. But the team is working really hard to try to hit potentially a patch soon with crafting, which I really believe that crafting is such a big step for Star Citizen as a whole. Uh, you know, it's just it will be a different game with the crafting system in place, and so the work that those teams are doing right now to bring this to life is incredible. I think that we're leveraging the technology that we have to, be able to create runtime items with different, properties and things like that. And so far, the first tech preview has been surprisingly solid and a success, I would say. And so now we're riding the coattails of that tech preview to, try to see for a launch window for crafting.
And you can't have crafting without the inventory rework.
Correct. That's right.
And that we I rarely ask a question I don't know the answer to already. The inventory rework is in the same tech preview, right?
I don't think it was. I don't think it was.
Because if you can't, so you can't have crafting without the inventory rework, but the tech preview for crafting doesn't have.
Technically, you can. They can be.
It would just be really bad.
Exactly. It's more from a game design point of view. But the inventory work is going really well. I mean, some of the people have been reposting screens recently on the original concept, right? That was shown. I mean, it's starting to look like that, so that's really good.
When does that go into tech preview?
We're hoping very soon because, like, at this point, every version that I've seen is fully functional, and so we just really want to solve one thing. This is one, and you say quality of life. Like, if I have a third one to add to my list, right? The speed of rendering of icons in the inventory, right? And so, like, right now, you open your inventory and there's always a moment where it's rendering RTT,
waiting
like
for
the render
everything.
to texture icons for each of those. Now, in case you don't know, this is a full 3D scene that gets rendered flat right there. Like, we have versions of this in previous concepts where it's full 3D. It's, super nice, but
Takes forever to load.
the user experience is not great, right? And no matter the amount of work we're going to put on the UI and the functionality of inventory, the speed of the UI is really a thing that we need to improve. And so that's the part that we're still iterating on now. We've done massive improvements, but there's
Okay.
still, we need to dial that in perfectly because that's the part we really want to solve.
But you feel good about it.
I feel good about it. Yeah, absolutely.
You feel good enough to say 4.7 in March?
I think so. I think so.
Don't
Okay.
put the camera when he says that. You gotta put the camera on him. No, you look at the camera. You say inventory.
I think
Okay.
inventory is going to be in 4.7. I think
All right.
Okay.
All right. Just
so.
got a
You're gonna put the
month,
small text after
month
this
and a
one.
half.
No, this is live. This is live, baby. No small text. And so, if inventory rework is 4.7, I'm not going to push
Crafting.
you on crafting. It's a super complicated thing or whatever. But
And the teams are working really hard for that launch window. If we can make it.
for that launch window,
We're pushing really hard.
I
for that
want
launch
to
window.
use my
you're pushing really hard to get
Crafting
crafting
abilities.
in 4.7
Yes.
in March.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so two things. One, well, same thing, but two aspects. I want my crafting available. Again, I mean, current event that we got going on, the final thing, if you do 100%, which, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that. I mean, try to. I got to try to get some time with my org to knock some stuff out. Or, maybe see if some other players want to do some things. But, is a fabricator, which obviously is not in game now, but it says, for when crafting becomes available, that's a prize for getting 100% in this current event. But more than that, as with the last live and other videos I've mentioned, I have now not one but two ships, and yes, one's a holdover that's supposed to have crafting. So of course the Clipper, which was recently released with its crafting, area, it's built in part of the ship and all that. And then as I have a Carrack on loan till my Odyssey comes out, I've heard various things about the Carrack, what it's supposed to be from my org mates, who one of which I know has a Carrack, and everything from there's supposed to be modular aspects, which I'm like, oh, really? Okay. But also, as I've explored my Carrack that I have on loan, there is a section where there is a slightly smaller version of what's in the clipper. I mean, a little area for, I guess, for crafting. So I now have two ships that are supposed to have crafting abilities, and it doesn't work. I'm like, come on. So if y'all are telling us that this new inventory system, which as y'all just said, is one of the holdups, not the only holdup, but one of the major holdups as far as why crafting hasn't come out, and that y'all had a good tech preview. If y'all are saying we should be getting crafting in, I mean, the inventory redo in March, then I don't see why crafting would not be along with that. Between the Clipper, and now I know also the Carrack. I'm not sure if there are any other ships that have that, but anyways, and the Fabricator. That's the reward for this month, which it goes into mid March. So I guess that would be about when 4.7 is supposed to be coming out. Give me my Fabricator. Or enable my ship. Give me my crafting so I can get use out of my ships fully. I mean, I still can use them for fun things, but I'm like, give me this, please. All right, sorry.
No promises.
No, pushing hard,
Yes,
pushing,
no
pushing hard
promises.
is fair.
We'll try.
Pushing hard is fair, and it's in line with what I've seen.
Yeah.
I've seen. So I won't correct you on that or whatever.
Now we don't know
you're
what
being-
surprises are ahead. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then there's also the
keep tech
UTC and
keep tech
vehicles
previewing.
that y'all
Keep tech
announced
preview.
coming out.
Exactly.
Yep. And for your part, keep logging into the tech previews and keep testing.
Yes.
I cannot stress this enough. The more involved folks are in those things, the more likely we are to be able to deliver them.
And the feedback
working.
is really key. Yeah.
Most of the feedback's okay. Some of it's trash, to be completely honest. Small amount of it. It's just what? Hey,
It is what it is.
hey. Canada goes both ways. How's instancing going?
Very good, actually. We actually had a summit this week about instancing, about getting all of the levels set up to support it. At this point, so maybe I can do a quick recap on what we've discussed in instancing before. So we talked about server meshing, right? So instancing is basically an additional system on top of server meshing, which allows us to take an area of space and give it to a server in the mesh to manage, right? Doesn't matter which one. The geographical, if I want, the spatial position of this thing doesn't matter, right? So for example, when you go to your hangar right now, that is an instance, right? So what we're doing is we're taking this system that manages and we're making a true instance manager with it. So we currently have the backend service completed for this. And so what that provides is the mechanism for creating an instance that that is associated with you or your party, and having rules for how many this instance is made for how many players, enforcing player caps and party caps for that instance, managing the life cycle of the instance. So hey, we want go back to my WoW days. I mean, maybe that's dated now, but like your molten core instance lives for 10 days, right? So the instance manager is in charge of doing that. So that system's in place now. And so the teams are currently working at how the entrance to the instance is going to work, right? So, well, we know how it's going to work, but like how it ties into level. So level designers put in, an entrance way.
Right.
At what point are you crossing the boundary? What brings you to the instance? What brings you out? Transport is a requirement for instancing. So just ties into all the discussion we just had. Like transit cannot bring you to an instance, but transport can.
Okay.
So basically we want to power that up there. So you can imagine an area of space that you walk into through a SAS or an elevator or a transit train. And when you come out, you're in the instance, but you don't even see...
You never see the loading screen.
demarcations. Exactly. Right. Now you're inside the instance, you play inside the instance, you can gather items, inventories, whatever, boss fights, etc. And then you can exit through another transit link, and that's it, you're back in the world.
So if we do this right, you should never be aware that you know. We might have to put some kind of indicator on there because of
Yeah.
like raid locks or whatever. We know we talked about municipal works,
Correct.
you know, and like this. So there might have to be some UI stuff to tell you to.
Yeah, some screens will show you like, oh, you can't enter this
Yes,
because
but from
cap or
but from an
something like
experience, we're not. It's there's no load screen. There's no hold on, please wait. You're transferring you to,
Right.
you know, whatever. Like you say, it's just you're going to go and suddenly the world around you is going to melt away, and you will be in a section of the
Being
universe
enclosed,
that is
basically.
dedicated entirely to you and your party.
Exactly, to play it, right? And then, we're also talking about at the moment how the instance manager responds to the mission system because we might want to be able to change what level you're going into when you pass the threshold or things like that. And so, or the access rights, right? So if you think back, man, I keep going back to WoW. This sucks, but whatever. In the good old WoW days, you need to do lower Blackrock Spire. And at some point, someone has a key. That's the requirement that unlocks upper Blackrock Spire. Well, we're thinking about mechanics in that vein
Yeah.
that allow the mission system to lock or unlock or the access rights to an instance. And so all of this is currently being managed, but it's going really well. Most of the networking capabilities that we needed have been added already. So one of them is that currently when you go to your instance, the way the server actually tracks that is we put a flag on your character that enables you to stream in your hangar and actually view your hangar when you go there. And we remove that flag when you leave it or when you go elsewhere when the hangar is removed. And so in the code up to now, we only had the ability for a single one of those on your character. So we can only give you access to one instance. But we need to be able to give you multiple access to multiple instances because we might have areas of transit that cross like one instance to another instance, things like that. We're going a bit deep with this, but at the moment those mechanics are ready, so the networking bit is done. So now we're really about crafting the first experience that we want to do with instancing.
And the first instance content will be Siege of Orison. We announced that.
Redux.
Siege of Orison Redux. Ooh, c'est en France.
Yeah.
Right. That's scheduled to come online. We talked about it during CitizenCon Direct. That's one of the content drops that are scheduled for this year.
Yeah.
Basically everything we've been talking more about a schedule than I probably intended at the beginning of this thing, but everything you saw
talk about stuff.
Sorry, everything that you saw at CitizenCon Direct last year is scheduled for 2026. So, and we announced at the beginning of the year with the first ISC that we've now moved to a bi-monthly. That's once every 2 months for those who like homonyms. I'm not above recycling a joke. Content thing. So if you know the first one was in January. We've already stated the second one's in March. The third one will be in May. There's always a patch in May for very important reasons. So forth and so forth. So when you it's one of those things where when you look at the content for CitizenCon Direct, you can sort of start to reverse engineer where things go. I'm not going to tell you. I'm saying you've got the tools. You've got the tools. You can pretty much kind of gather where everything is going to be. And I'd like to see your schedules. And that's just content. That's just the content stuff, because that's really what we talked about at Citizen.
I can tell you, like, from being with the team this week, working on instancing, everybody's like super stoked. Like it's like the energy is really high on like, oh man, how you enter it, how you exit it, what gameplay is going to be in it. There's also a big piece of this, which is like some designers, in this case, can design an experience that is repeatable. Most of the content we've produced this year was, there's a PvE experience for it, but it's fundamentally in a PvP zone. So that is giving them those tools to make something that's fun and repeatable as an experience. And I just the energy is really good.
Nope. Now chat's like Squadron 42, whatever. I ain't talking about Squadron 42. I made one very plain spoken, reasonable comment about Squadron 42 the last time we got together, and it got press articles. So I ain't saying nothing. I'm talking about Star Citizen. Star Citizen. Star Citizen.
Where we at?
I want to inject something.
Inject.
I want to inject something.
Okay, let's go.
Something we haven't talked about. It came from the chat. It came from the chat.
Okay.
Regional servers.
Yeah.
Regional servers. We have never had a conversation
About
in any way,
Sure.
shape, or form about regional servers. It was there in the chat and whatnot. I think I'm going to put you on the spot.
What are they asking?
It just says regional servers when. Just what can we do to help the people who play in the various regions of the world
Sure.
have a better experience? Is that the answer? Is regional? I guess what I'm asking is regional servers the answer, or is there some, or are we going towards something else different that I've literally never asked you about?
Well, I don't know in this case if they're asking for what I think they are, but let's talk about regions.
Okay.
So we already have regions, right? So when you play the game, you can pick one of the global availability
USA,
regions that we deserve, that we service.
Asia.
So obviously, the U.S., North America is one. The Europe is one. We have East Asia,
Asia,
Australia. I forget
That's
the
it.
other ones, but I think we have another one. So typically, we look at user data, right? And if an area reaches critical mass, right, at some point, then it's worth it to deploy shards there. So and have shards hosted in that region. So we do it like between US and EU. Obviously, they share our common backend. So your inventory system is hosted in one central area, but then the actual game servers you're playing on for latency reasons is going to be closer to your area. Right now, we are revisiting our region kind of distribution for a couple of reasons. Like we've done some pretty large, without naming any details here, but we're in the process of doing some pretty large migrations. In how we host the game. So there's, even if it's a bit transparent, there is a lot of changes happening there, and so we are revisiting our region map kind of at the moment. But typically, the way that we've done this is we look at player data, and if we reach critical mass in an area, then it's worth it to start deploying some shards there. But it needs to be more than one, right? Because deploying one shard in one area is problematic because, there are cases where a shard goes into trouble for some reason, and before a hotfix actually deploy, that shard is no longer usable. So we need to have, it needs a
proper
critical
cluster,
mass
yeah.
to be able to go there. Yeah, exactly, a proper cluster size to be able to get there.
And the short version of that is you're currently undergoing conversations about where.
Yeah, we're looking at that because we've done some changes, so we have access to more regions than we used to. So we're looking at that, but I can't promise any changes. Again, it's completely based on player using the service.
So during the key bindings conversation, every once in a while I'll check Teams just to see if I still have a job during the show, which is another joke I get accused of making quite often and repeatedly, but it isn't a joke. I really do scroll and check. Jeffrey Prees, I had an R there. Bearded
CIG?
Didn't mean to add a.
What did Bearded CIG say?
He sent me a JIRA for key bindings. Exporting custom key binds to XML doesn't export all settings.
2013 or what?
But he's just sending me JIRAs now. I don't know what you think I'm going to do with this, but thank you. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Bearded.
Thanks, Bearded. I haven't talked to Jeff in a while.
That's actually a guy we should talk about if we were going to reevaluate regions. Maybe you get him on the show next.
You want to talk about Jeff? Let's talk about Jeff. He can't do anything about it. We know he's watching.
Yeah, that's right.
So what do you think he's hiding behind that beard?
I don't know.
We're in the final stretch. We're in the final stretch. We only have a handful of topics.
He does have a big beard. That's not a joke. He's not called Bearded for anything.
VR kind of came out of. I mean, it's one of those things we've been talking about it.
Sure.
We talk about it here and there.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. We've talked about a lot of things over the years.
Okay.
I mean,
so actually,
we've talked about a lot of things.
we're gonna stop here, because I want to hear what they have to say about VR, amongst whatever's left in this last half hour. But I'm gonna go ahead and just, as I thought before, break it into 4 parts total. So that is the third part. This starts with Sin Live. Again, covered some good topics, some things. As obviously, I went yet again on a little rant about some of them. But yeah, as always, Feel free to share, subscribe. Hopefully, give me a like if you like my content. Those of you who have subscribed, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hit that notification button below so you know when I drop something new. If you feel so inclined, leave me a message. Let me know what you think about the Star Citizen Live, my commentary, any suggestions or whatnot. And as always, thanks for watching. Peace.